You're listening to Andy Tijou on Epsom Hospital Radio. I'm joined now by an anonymous, fictitious MP to talk about some of the hot topics happening in the world at the moment. We have learnt recently that Big Brother is watching me, watching you, keeping tracks on everything we look at online, every phone call, every text message. Has the state gone too far spying on its people?
No, far from it.
You mean they haven't gone far enough? But the majority of people are honest, law-abiding people. Why should they be scrutinised and treated as terrorists?
Well, many reasons, really. To keep you in check, to stop you getting out of control, and to clip your wings if suddenly you get ideas above your station.
I'm not quite sure I follow what you're talking about.
Well, say for instance that one day you get a job as a journalist. You're doing some investigative journalism and you accidentally come across a big find. The story of the century. You might think you've caught, for instance, a purely hypothetical MP on a cruise for young boys on Clapham Common, or unmasked that a claim our government has made about one of our enemies is false. Well, through our monitoring programmes, we'd get wind of this before you publish it and take measures to stop you.
What sort of measures?
Well, we can blackmail you into suppressing the story. For instance, say you were looking at saucy underwear for your girlfriend online. Well, suddenly we'd have proof that you were looking at it for yourself. You can't prove otherwise. The story goes away. Maybe you'll need a bit of intimidation. We can track your routines from your phone's GPS history. Scare you a little whilst you're walking the dog. Get my meaning?
This is a very scary picture you're painting. Does it really work?
When was the last time you heard a story about an MP badger spotting on Hampstead Heath?
Well, it's been some time, I guess. But other stories have leaked about you guys. Expenses, for example.
Yep, and I'm sure that the journalists who leaked that are very happy with their new jobs at their local newspapers, reporting on cats and noisy neighbours.
What about Jackie Smith and the porn scandal?
Well, I'm not against the idea of claiming for porn on expenses. I prefer the real experience, personally. But nobody minded that car crash of a woman being brought down a peg or two. Plus the Labour Party at the time was beginning to go off the rails a little. It happens to a party once it's been in power for several years. Complacency sets in. They let things slip. It helps another party with exactly the same agenda move in and continue with more of exactly the same. You just look at the last Labour government. Gordon Brown was hopeless. Just had to keep things going for a while before the next party took over. Before that, the Tories were stronger under Margaret Thatcher, but after they'd been in power for a while, they got tired. They let John Major take over. Then everyone else was having a pop at making leadership bids. Portillo, for instance. All the while the PM was having fun in the Cabinet Office with Edwina Currie.
Very interesting. Don't you even feel a little bit bad about doing this? Intruding on people's lives for your own benefit? You've not even mentioned monitoring with a view to stopping terrorists yet.
No, I don't feel bad about doing this. As I'm sure I've mentioned to you before, if we were going to govern effectively, we need to do so without silly little stories undermining us all over time. And as for terrorists, we can't monitor what they're up to. They're far too sophisticated for us. Ask the MP was written and produced by Andy Tijou, starring Andy Tijou as himself, and Dan Street as the purely fictional MP. Though there may be similarities to the past and current events and people, the MP is purely fictitious and is not based on any particular person or political party.
Please don't sue me.
Or me!